This two-part video. I'm just being lazy here because I don't want to make two videos here. So the first part here, we're going to have a update on the Gilchrist mandolin that I was working on. I've got several videos on this. You can go watch them. One of them is really, really long, talking about how I fixed the crack that was in the top. So on this mandolin, just to catch you up, this is a good friend mandolin, not my mandolin, but I've known this for at least 20 years. Anyway, I've worked on it a couple times. I did frets on it, and he had the skinny Evo frets up here, and he wanted frets that were more like Ellis mandolins. So I contacted Ellis, and I found out what they use, and I was surprised because it's actually the guitar wire. It's the 80 thousandths of an inch wide, whereas this thinner Evo is 55 thousandths of an inch wide. And I do not like wide wire, but when I was playing Ellis mandolins, I thought, well, this is good wire. I could tell it was a little bit wider, but I thought it was a 70 thousandths of an inch wire. It's not. I contacted them. Anyway, I put guitar fret wire. It's 4380. 43 tall, 80 thousandths of an inch wide. That's what Ellis uses. Now, I did a trick on this, and again, I talked about this, but I'm just recapping here real quick. I used the wide fret wire up to fret 12, and then I left the narrow fret wire that was already on the mandolin going up to here. And the reason for that, I've done this before, the reason that I like to do that is because I like the narrow fret wire when I'm on the upper frets. It gives me a little bit more room for my fat fingers in between there. And then you can have you're going to do most of your playing up in here anyways, so you can have your bigger wire up in there, your thinner wire up here, and you really can't tell. I mean, you look at it, and you'll have to look at it to really see that wire. I'm trying to give you a good light here. You'll have to really look at it to notice that there's two different wires on here, because the optical illusion of the narrow, closer together frets spacing blends that in a little bit. So you'll look at that and you'll go, huh. But when you're playing it, it's good. So anyway, that's what I did. I think I have already made a nut for this mandolin. That looks like my nut. And there was another nut in the case, and the spacing was really, really good on this. So I have a feeling that's my nut. Set that up. I did the pick guard. I re-epoxied the pick guard. It was delaminating and falling apart and coming off the mandolin and all kinds of things. So I fixed it, took care of that. Then the main thing is it had a top crack here. The top seam was split. And it was opening back and forth with humidity. I could not quite get it completely closed with humidity. I got it pretty close. Then what I did is go watch the video on this, but I winched in a very, 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 very thin splint. It's so thin that it's held together with tape. And I drilled two little holes in here. One of them is right behind the bridge right here, and one of them is underneath the tailpiece. And that was a small mistake I made. I thought the bridge was farther back than it was, and if I had gotten that right, I would have put the hole directly underneath the bridge. We wouldn't be able to see it. But it's pretty well hidden here, and I'm not quite done with it yet. I'm going to work on it just a little bit more. I'm going to make it hide completely. Anyway, drilled two tiny little holes in there. 1/32 of an inch, 1/64 of an inch. Smallest absolute drill bit I could get. Use string, winched in a very, very thin cleat that in there, and then use magnets to hold it. And the top looks great right now. It looks like a glued center top seam. You can't tell there's a crack there. It's been stable. My personal mandolin, the Elkhorn, which is back here on the wall behind me, had this exact same problem, and I did this 11 years ago, and it's still holding great. So I did that, did a couple things, wiped them, took care of a bunch of little small problems, and the tuners were loose, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, there it is. Let's come up close to the camera, and I'm going to show you the top seam, and you can probably see a little hole. And once again, I'm not done with this. I'm waiting for, I've got a yellow, an aged yellow lacquer marker from Stumac over in Los Alamos at the other shop, and I want that because it's going to stain that to where it matches really, really, really good. I don't want to get in there with too much sanding and micro cloth, or I don't want to polish that spot. So I'm trying to use that. I'm trying to fill that spot in with the minimum of touching it. And I have that yellow marker in there, and it's gonna blend that in really, really good, I think. But anyway, here's your top scene. Let's move up close here. Move it around in the light so you can see it. Maybe you can see it. And I might have to get a GoPro on that, but you can see, I think, the top. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. It looks great. I just got back from a festival in Santa Fe, New Mexico. First time I've been to a festival in 10 years, I bet. It's been a long, rough spot. But I went to that. I'm going to Winfield in 2 weeks. So that's kind of a improvement. Anyway, I took this mandolin with me. And I took all my mandolins, really, and because I had a bunch of friends there, and I wanted to play for them, and I wanted to get their feedback on what the mandolins sound like in a jam session, and, just exploring the idea of getting a high-end mandolin. And I learned a lot of things from jamming, and I think my mandolin acquisition syndrome has been pretty well squelched. And thus I found one specific, very, very special mandolin. And as much as I like this mandolin, this is not it for me. I found out some things about this when playing it. When you play it here, where it's the only mandolin in a jam, and it's a small jam, but there's only one of each instrument, it sounds real good. But when the jam got bigger, the warmer, fuller sound of this mandolin got lost. And I found out that my Krishot mandolin over here, everybody thought it cut the best. Whereas a lot of people did not like the Krishot when it was comparing mandolin to mandolin, just the mandolin, two people sitting here playing. They prefer the Gilchrist pretty much every time. But when the jam got bigger and I was switching mandolins, the Krishot cut. And I could definitely hear it better, whereas this one got lost to me in my face. We're talking very small difference here, but it does kind of squash your mandolin acquisition syndrome to where you're thinking, the mandolins I have are pretty darn good, so just leave it alone. But I came back from the festival. This is part 2. I came back from the festival with a Gibson that a friend of a friend of a friend, a guy, a former customer of mine, needed some frets on it and needed some care. So I ended up putting 12 frets on this one. And I had just enough of the original wire left. This is 75 thousandths of an inch by 40 thousandths of an inch. I had just enough of this left to do 12 frets. And that's it. I cannot get that size anymore. Dunlop makes a wire that's just a little bit different. But I had the same wire as was up on the upper fret. So I did 12 new frets. And then he's got the previous frets on this part. These are all the same size, and so you can't tell any difference on that. But I did 12 frets, adjusted the knot, and that's really about it. This is a Gibson F9, so the back is not bound. Binding on the neck is a single binding, not a triple bound, and this is rattling around in here. That's what you hear. This is a strap button, which is pretty cool. He fastens your strap onto this thing. So Gibson F9, and I thought, it's going to be interesting to hear Gibson against the Gilchrist. This is a Dave Harvey signed Gibson, which is really good, 2011. So it's got some age on it. It's a Mandolin Store custom. I'm not sure exactly what is custom about it. It's got a real nice looking top on it, a satin finish. It's got a big, fat, chunky neck. It's a little bit too big for me. Having the opportunity now with fresh frets, fresh strings and everything, fresh setup, we're going to compare the Gilchrist to the Gibson. And then I'll probably get all 4 of the mandolins out and we're going to do a quick sweep through 4 mandolins because why not, I'm sitting here with 4 really good mandolins. Why not record them? It's always fun for me to hear them back anyway. So all that said, here's the Gibson. I'm using a Wegen pick that I found in my case or somewhere, and I thought, I need to play with that. It's pretty good, it takes a little bit of the bright harshness off of some of these mandolins, especially the Elkhorn. The Elkhorn is a pretty bright mandolin, and this softens the blow a little bit. I was using a David Grisman pick on that, and I like that. And I also spent a lot of time in Santa Fe changing picks on one mandolin, and I found that I definitely liked this pick on that mandolin, and it wasn't the same pick. So every mandolin now has its own unique pick. So try that sometime, you know. This one I felt, it fits good in my hand. I like the way it feels. It's not sliding around on me too much. But it also has a little bit of a muted high to it, which is okay on some of these mandolins. So I'm using a Wegen, whatever it is. It's this one. Do they still make these? They kind of, you know, they were a hot pick for a while. And I got a couple of them, I thought. And they're kind of falling out of favor a little bit. I kind of like it. I'm going to pick up a couple more. Here we go. The Gibson F9. And there's a string hanging out here because I broke the A string. It catches in the tailpiece here. It's just the winding will catch on that, and as you tighten it, pow, you bust it. I went through 3 A strings before I got this one on there. My cutter's out in the shop, so deal with it. It's easy to tell. The one with the dangling string is the Gibson. Here we go. What do I think about him? The Gilchrist fits me way better. I think that Gibson sounds pretty good. I heard the Gibson face to face where the owner was playing it, and it sounded really good. It sounded good there. But the Gilchrist fits me a lot better. The neck on the Gil is just much more to my preferences. It's a soft, rounded V, whereas this Gibson is a super clubby neck that just does not fit my hand. If you had bigger hands, it'd probably fit you just fine. But look at the necks on these two. Let's go this way. Anyway, I can't get it up there. I'm dropping one of them. The Gibson has almost a U-shaped neck, it feels like. It's almost a U like this. And the Gilchrist is a rounded V. It comes off immediately, makes it round, thinner. And so the gill just feels better in my hands. Sitting here playing it, this one feels crisper and a little bit more balanced. This one has, the Gibson has a certain tubbiness or something to the tone. Right there, you know. It's just compared to this one. Boy, I notice it when I go over to that open D. It's like it just sounds tubby. Might not sound that way coming through the mic, but coming up in my face, you know, that's what I'm hearing there. Definitely, you definitely hear different things from in front of an instrument than sitting behind it. So this is a good mandolin, though. I mean, I could definitely play this. You know, I would probably reshape the neck a little bit. The Krishot that's back behind me here is actually, it's over here. It's the opposite of this neck. It's a thin neck, and at first I think, oh, it's too thin. But then I realized that I can get my fingers at a sharper angle, and it's a little hard for me to get my fingers. I have to palm the neck in order to get my fingers to come straight down on the fingerboard like this. And consequently, I think I don't play quite as clean on this mandolin. It's definitely, I think, there's a bigger hand mandolin, which the owner is bigger. Everybody's bigger than me. So I like the Gibson. It was cool to bring it home and play it and get to know it. So all right, I'm gonna just, now you can go home if you want to. You can go home at any point. This is part three of this. I'm just gonna play all four of these mandolins a little bit, and you can just hear them from up front. So I'm gonna stick with this pick though. Start with the gill. Might be the same song, might not be the same song. I don't know. I'm just going to play what comes to me on the mandolin.